Mazel Tov. I'm Clarissa from House of Beso, and I wanted to share a quick video on the perils of vintage fabric. So, last night I was working on a custom order. There was a customer who wanted this kind of fabric, but they wanted it completely lined. So what I decided to do was to take the material that I have, and this is just a piece that I got. It was, I believe it was a vintage scrap that I found somewhere. And I liked it because it did have that kind of vintage look to it. It's kind of silvery white. And when you buy something that's vintage, or when you buy something that's sort of a one of a kind, the good thing about it is that you find something really special. Like this is something that I hadn't seen before. Another fabric that I got that is also vintage. It's also from the same kind of period. This is kind of a gold, a warm gold. And it's kind of that mid-century look that I like so much. So anyway, this is an example of another kind of vintage fabric. So finding that vintage fabric can be really fun because you find unique things that we just don't see anymore. The downside is you don't often know what it's made out of, because when you buy stuff right off the bolt, then you see there's a little label that says what kind of fabric it is, and it even tells you how to care for it, you know, machine wash or low iron or whatever. So the idea is to always be very, very gentle with these vintage fabrics because you don't know where they came from or where they've been stored or what kind of shape they're in. So you should always treat them very, very gently and assume that they're super fragile. So use a very low iron, treat them very gently. I did not follow this advice last night. So when I was cutting the fabric, I'd cut out the fabric to make the new version of this pouch. I just hit it with my iron on a super high temp because that's how I roll. I just love a really hot iron. I like to make sure I get it nice and hot and really press the crap out of it. Unfortunately, what ended up happening, and I don't know if you can see it, is, oh yeah, you kind of can see it. See how it kind of looks puckered? So it was, I would say it was a good ½ inch smaller all the way around than the other piece that I hadn't ironed yet, because I cut them out exactly the same size and then I went to iron them. And this one ended up being so much shorter, like tiny small compared to the other one. So that was a lesson learned. This is the finished pouch. It's going out today in just a few moments actually. I'm going to pop it in the mail. But I ended up using a much cooler iron, probably like a mid temperature, like a medium hot temperature, to just iron it a little bit. It didn't need a lot of pressing because, as you can see, I keep it hanging pretty nicely and it doesn't get too many kinks or wrinkles or whatever. Just a little bit here and there from the fold maybe. So just in the future I'm going to be a little bit more careful. So that's my suggestion for the day. Treat your vintage fabrics very gently. Low iron, please. Learn from my mistakes. You don't want them shrinking up on you or scorching. Treat them kindly.